Well, hello there, motherfuckers. And do I really need to say anything? Doesn't the title of the video just pretty much speak for itself? Isn't that already gonna get me a thumbs down from the smarks? You know, you're already raging, you're already typing out your comments before I even open up my big mouth, right? So let's talk a little bit about this and why all elite wrestling. Oh, it's so elite. It's so elite. Why it will fail and why it will die very, very soon. And I don't even think that this company is going to last a few years, even. Why am I thinking this? Okay, first of all, competitors to WWE. We have seen them, we've seen them come, and we've seen them go. Now, everybody thought back in the day, this is what I'm saying, it's like, okay, some of the younger fans, I get it, you haven't been around for that long, you don't really know how it works. Do you guys realize, like, let's dial it back a little bit here. WCW, ECW, TNA, Lucha Underground, right? Ring of Honor, XPW, you know, you name the wrestling company, and they've all fallen by the wayside. Every single last one of them died out or is just, you know, flatline and it's not doing that well. And everybody always thought that every single one of the companies that I just named was going to make it big. Okay, maybe not XPW, but there were certainly people who thought that Ring of Honor, all they needed was a TV deal. All they needed was a TV deal. And then they'd be exposed to the world and everybody would watch it. And, you know, everybody would just, you know, just realize the genius of Ring of Honor wrestling. Okay, so with that in mind, they got a TV deal. And did anybody watch Ring of Honor? No, they didn't. They got their pay-per-views on pay-per-view. Did anybody order them? Did anybody watch them? No. Let's talk about a bigger company with more money behind it. So everyone is saying that all elite wrestling is going to be a huge company because Tony Khan, you know, a huge billionaire of the Khan brothers, the Khan family, whatever the fuck it is. I honestly never even heard of them up until this point. People are going to call me ignorant. Oh, you didn't know Tony Khan, and not even admit that they probably didn't know who he was either prior to ranting and raving about all elite wrestling. And it hasn't even started yet. And everybody's already promoting it like it's the biggest thing under the sun. It's going to take... And you know, I know people are going to say, I'm negative, I hate wrestling, why do I even bother watching it? There's also going to be people that are that stupid that they're going to call me a WWE mark, even though I make videos against WWE's product every single week here on this channel. How many Raw and SmackDown reviews do I have? Check my backlog. I've bashed a lot of shows, guys. You know, I've put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into this channel bashing WWE. I've spoken a lot. I've yelled a lot. I've bitched a lot. I've moaned a lot. I've done quite a bit. I've probably spoken millions of words by now on negatively about WWE. So I don't want to hear that shit that I'm a mark for them, that, you know, I secretly love WWE and you know, and I'm just bashing all elite wrestling because somehow subversively I want to see WWE always on top. I don't. I agree with people. Competition has made the lack of competition has made them complacent. We don't see that fire during the Monday Night War because, you know, there's no one to really compete with them. And plus, we don't even know, even if there was competition, would they even fucking care? They kind of want to do their own thing now. I think I'm kind of under the impression that they kind of want to just be sold off already, that they're just waiting for a bigger enough buyer to come around. That's why they've sold their soul to the Saudis. That's why they're coming up with all these big international deals, as the product on TV just continues to just be a complete disaster. Even though the ratings are failing, they don't even care. Even though they have a big deal with Fox, they don't give a shit. So I don't even know how they would react. Even in the unlikely event that All Elite Wrestling does somehow manage to become a viable enough form of competition for them. The thing is, though, above all else, is that it just, I don't think that enough people give a shit about wrestling for All Elite Wrestling. And first of all, I'm looking at the roster. Yes, I have been following what Chris Jericho has been doing, to a certain degree on Instagram in New Japan. And I like the costumes. I like he's, doing a good job promoting himself. He looks like he's able to really just kind of be free with his creativity. And I think it's awesome. It's too bad we didn't get to see that on a grand stage like WWE and see him in those crazy horror style, costumes. He really looks like some type of horror rock star, and that just would have been awesome. Just, people were saying that, Jericho was reinventing himself because he wore a scarf and carried a list down to the ring. And even though that could have been entertaining at times, it didn't even compare. I haven't even actually seen any video footage. I've just been looking at it through pictures. And I'm like, Jericho is, if this is all him, the guy's a genius and he's doing a great job for himself. He's probably making tons of money. And Jericho has signed to All Elite Wrestling. And I'm sure, that he's probably going to get a pretty good contract and a good deal. Well, besides Jericho, who do you have in this company? You've got all the usual suspects. Cody Rhodes, who thinks he's better than what he is. Guys, Cody Rhodes is a talented wrestler. He's good, but let's be honest, he's not as, charismatic and talented as his brother, Goldust. I mean, you're talking about a guy, Goldust, as talented as he is, as much personality, as much as he's given to the WWE. Even he didn't get to the top. I'm sorry, but not everybody is worthy of the World Championship. And I'm going to be the first one to say that Cody Rhodes, whether he has blonde hair or he's brunette, whether, whoever he wants to be, whether he's the American Nightmare or he's been defaced or whatever the case may be, he's not World Championship material. I'm sorry, when I look at Cody Rhodes, I don't see a world champion. People are also going to look at me and say, oh, you see Daniel Bryan as a world champion. Okay, listen, if you look on SmackDown, and even as terrible as SmackDown is, the effort that Daniel Bryan puts into his promos, the fire, the energy, that's a star. And, of course, people were praising Daniel Bryan when he was in Ring of Honor and, his first few years in WWE. But, of course, when Jackass started bashing him, and then everyone else followed suit. But this is not a video about Daniel Bryan. I'm just saying, I'm kind of painting a picture here of the smarks. That's who's really promoting this. This is who this product is for. I don't see all why did I almost say all American wrestling? No, all elite wrestling is definitely a indie style product. Because, the indies have been seeing this downturn in WWE as an opportunity for them to overtake the wrestling scene. And I don't know why that is, that people keep calling this the year of the indies. Okay, so maybe some of the indies are making money and everything, but they're not going to get big TV deals. They're not going to get, all this exposure that they're hoping for. Look, if TNA couldn't do it, see, the thing is, these companies, they always end up making big mistakes. They never get a good TV deal on the major network. I'm sorry, but if you're not on one of the major networks, nobody is going to look for you on all these, like, the Travel Channel and whatever the fuck, Impact is on nowadays. I'm sorry. I know that there's Impact Defenders. I know I have subs that, want to see me review Impact and everything, but I'm sorry, guys. I really do apologize to people like Poston and PlayStation Guy 85. I know you guys like the Impact product, but I look at it and I'm sorry, to me it's kind of a sad story. I thought that Impact Wrestling was really fucking cool when it first started, when it was a weekly pay-per-view, and I did enjoy some of the offerings on Spike TV, but, you know, once they completely got Russo out of there, I'm sorry, I'm the first one to admit that I'm a Russo mark, and I know that's going to probably, for a lot of smarks, discredit me right away, but I don't really care what you think, you know. I think most people who know, you know that I don't care what other people think. I'm going to speak my mind in these videos anyway. You know, whether you thumb it down or not, I don't care. Bring it on. If you've made it this far, you've already watched plenty of what this video has to offer, so I've already got you hooked. So you've already watched it. Any type of reaction is a positive one, and every type of view is still a view at the end of the day, and you still heard what I had to say, so I win, haha. But besides that, you know, I talk about usual suspects. Who am I talking about here? So you've got Jericho and Cody Rhodes. Okay, so Cody Rhodes is at the top of his game. He's the king of the indies. He's the best of all time. He deserved championship. Oh, WWE fucked up. Oh, they didn't make him world champion. Okay, so yeah, WWE is fucking up, but not because they didn't make Cody Rhodes champion. They fucked up because they screwed over a lot of other great talent that was charismatic and entertaining, and probably could have ended up being a bigger stars than what they ended up being. But you've got Christopher Daniels, the Young Bucks, you know, basically the whores of Meltzer Magoo. You know, that's pretty much who they are. I mean, these are guys that wrestle with a wrestling journalist on their fucking tights. It doesn't get any more disturbing than that. They actually have a man in his late 50s tattered all over their fucking wrestling tights. And then they have a move called the Meltzer Driver. Like, oh my god. Like, anyway, I don't even know why WWE wants them. Probably to satisfy the smarks. Why else? But they also have Christopher Daniels and Frankie Kazarian. Okay, you know, Daniels is a big mouth. He thinks he's one of the best of all time. I'm not gonna, you know, say anything foolish like he's not talented, you know, like he's not a good wrestler. He is. I've enjoyed a fair amount of his matches in Ring of Honor and in TNA. He's had some really great matches with AJ Styles. That's putting it mildly. Frankie Kazarian, another talented guy. You know, he's actually was one of the people I actually saw him do like certain moves for the first time, and I was quite taken by his athleticism. But, you know, now that, like, everybody does the moves that they do, you know, stuff like the BME and shit like that, and the flux capacitor, you know, and plus it's not like these guys have, you know, a ton of charisma. I'm sorry, you know, Daniels has had his moments where he's come off as cool and everything like that, and, you know, they were kind of funny when they would do the, you know, the Gangnam style dance, but aside from that, like, okay, I know that they're still signing stars and everything like that, and they're not done filling out their roster, but as far as I'm concerned, so far, so bad. They've got a bunch of other people signed that they're not going to set the world on fire. And this is not a company that's ready to, you know, really be something huge. I'm sorry, but most people just don't care. They're watching Netflix. They're watching other shows on TV. They're just, you know what I'm saying? Like, in a world where people are going gaga over something like Bird Box, is there really a place for another wrestling company? And they're not even promising, you know, larger than life stars, because the only one they have that could anywhere be close to being considered larger than life, and he is God actually called himself larger than life, you know, many years ago. Chris Jericho. That's about the only person worth a damn keeping your eyes peeled for in AEW. Aside from that, who else really is there to really watch that I could really, you know, you could really say is a huge, massive star? And I am not accepting Cody Rhodes as an answer. I am sorry, but Cody Rhodes is not a household name. He's not somebody's, okay, you know, and you're going to say, okay, well, you know, they're going to focus on building new stars. Oh, are they? Do you realize that a guy like Christopher Daniels has been in the wrestling business for over fucking 20 years? That's not a new star right there. I mean, what are they going for here? I don't even see them promising, okay, the smart thing to do would be promise characters, storylines, and basically everything that WWE doesn't deliver on. So far, I see a bunch of indie marks, a bunch of, smart favorites. I'm sorry, but WWE already has all of that. The only guy, I also forgot to mention, there's Pac. That's a guy that has a lot of potential. I already said that. Neville from WWE. I said that, that guy was somebody that deserved to actually, probably from what I observed anyway, get at least close to the main event scene. I said if a guy like Finn Balor could even be considered a main eventer, or even, God forbid, a world champion, which he actually already has been, then why not a guy like Neville? That's all I'm saying. So big fan of Neville, big fan of Jericho. Daniels is okay, but I mean, it's just like I've had enough of him already. He's not really doing it for me. There's other veterans that are, were more worthy of our time. So I look at this company and I'm just like, okay, so just guys, tell me exactly why All Elite Wrestling is going to be the major success and why it's going to kick WWE's ass so much. Do you realize that, you walk around and you don't see anybody wearing wrestling t-shirts, you don't hear anybody talking about wrestling, you only see it here on the internet, where it has a life, where the YWC and the IWC give it life, I give it life, I have a discussion, people like Sean's View, people like JD from New York, people like that keep the discussion on wrestling going, keep it alive, keep it relevant to some small ass degree, but we keep the discussion going. And so, other than that, you don't really see it too much out in the real world off of YouTube and off of the interwebs. It's just, it's not a popular topic. There's just, there's too many games out there. There's too many TV shows and movies that people are interested in. There's just other things here on YouTube to watch besides wrestling. So it's like you bring another company out there and you're not really offering a lot. There'll be a slightly different presentation, I'm sure, but I'm saying even a wrestling company that had a lot to offer in as far as being different, like Lucha Underground, as being an alternative, it didn't do that well. Now, I know you're going to say that, okay, now this has a lot more financial backing, so they're capable of doing more. But it's all about what they're allowed to do, what they're approved to do, and what parameters they have to work around. You would think that with Dixie Carter and the millions and billions of dollars she had access to, they owned a fucking oil company, right? The Carters. So, why would you think anything less at that time? That TNA would have obviously been a direct competitor to WWE. But they barely got even close. They got close maybe for a few months, and then it kind of died off after that. And they had fucking Hulk Hogan and Sting there, by the way, and Eric Bischoff, tons of big names, and they still failed big time. And Mick Foley too. I mean, big stars in there. AEW doesn't have anywhere close to that. They've got Chris Jericho, and they've got Pac, and they've got Cody Rhodes. The Young Bucks are gonna come and save the day. I mean, they already offered Kenny Omega. Once again, that guy was not gonna set the world on fire. Most people, I'm sorry that they don't know who these people are. They're not gonna attract an outside audience. Probably people that are already watching WWE might, maybe half or a quarter of them might tune in to see, what this All Elite Wrestling is all about. But other than that, it's who's going to fucking waste their time with another wrestling company when this junk isn't, is already on TV in the WWE? And I told you, I don't care what people said at the Ring of Honor events. Everybody there, as much as they complained about the WWE product back in 2005, 2006, they still watched that shit on Monday nights, and they still knew what was going on. They knew all the stars. They knew everything. That's why they knew the chant that Jimmy Yang, velocity, and all that shit. They knew exactly about that product. People who watch the indies are not just solely indie fans. They're WWE fans too, because that is the major company, that is the Band-Aid brand, that is the McDonald's of the fast food. It is like the main thing that you say. Remember, no one says adhesive bandage. They say Band-Aid. And WWE is the Band-Aid in some respects, and everybody is going to treat them as being the biggest one. And we've kind of gotten so far along now. We're in 2019, guys. It's kind of a little bit too late for this, for another wrestling company to ride in and save the day. It's past that. People have given up on this product. Once in a while, they might say, hey, Hogan's back, or, oh, I just read on Instagram that Mean Gene died. I'll remember him. Basically, every single person that I've ever spoken to about wrestling recently, they've always all said the same thing. It used to be so much better. Oh, I loved wrestling back in the day. And maybe they'll do something nostalgic that might remind them of that nostalgia. But they'll always come back around and say, oh, wrestling used to be so great. It used to be so great. You really think that all elite wrestling is going to come around and make it great again? When they don't have Hulk Hogan's, they don't have Stone Cold's, they don't have The Rock, they don't have Mick Foley, they don't have an Undertaker. They've got Chris Jericho. And, I'm sorry, but even if they do sign Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, Christopher and Daniels and Kaz, are these people really going to bring wrestling into 2019 and set the world on fire and start another wrestling boom period? We're past that already. That's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. You're not going to see that again anytime soon. That ship has sailed. We have to accept it already. I am so sick and tired of everybody pretending like, oh, this is the revolution. Join it before it's too late. Oh, you're going to be sorry when AEW takes over and they become this super awesome, WWE is going to regret what they did to Cody Rhodes, and WWE is going to be just fine doing what they're doing. They're not really making any big profits. They're wasting their money on a lot of different things. But, if they sell their brand name, they'll be happy at the end of the day, because that seems like it's what their goal is. So, they make a ton of cash here and there, and they're satisfied doing that. Trust me, they're not that worried about All Elite Wrestling. And quite frankly, no one should be all hot and bothered over it either, whether it's a positive or negative you're thinking towards the company. Because you're going to see, it's going to come out and it's going to be bland and boring. Because, okay, if they did the indie style, at least that would have been different. But now WWE's doing that too. So it's like they're not offering us characters and storylines. So we're not going to get anything different out of it that's going to rival the current product on TV, other than different stars that WWE doesn't have. And and they're gonna be probably like how TNA was. Oh, here's a bunch of people that used to be in WWE, and now we're gonna give them the world championship just to make WWE look bad, but not really do anything with them that's worth a damn, because we book things even worse than they do. So, go ahead with your little WWE graveyard, which is what this is turning out to be already. And, it's just, it's not going to be what you people think it's going to be. I know what you think it's going to be, and it's not going to be like that. You think it's going to be the next WCW. You think we're going to have another Monday Night War. Ha! No, we're not. That is not happening. That is not happening anytime soon. It's going to disappoint you. You're going to be very disappointed, and it's going to be like TNA. You're going to hang on to it. No, it's too good. I swear. Let it go. No. Okay, and we're all going to do like the Peter Griffin and walk away really slowly, and pretend, okay. So, it's just... Just come on already. Do we really have to sit here in this video and really talk about this? Why you're wrong and why you're going to be disappointed. Don't you people learn? Don't you, see these trends? Can't you follow trends? Can't you just, see when you're kind of running around in a circle and the same result keeps on happening to all these companies. It's not because we love WWE and all us, AEW naysayers are like trying to give you a hard time and try, we're gonna subvert the product so WWE can win. That's not what we're doing. We don't like WWE. We're just saying that it's foolish to kind of put stock into something that doesn't really have a fucking chance, is all I'm saying. So guys, there you go. I know you probably hate me, and if you did, you can hit a thumbs down and tell me why. And I'm pretty sure you've probably already done that. But if you didn't, you agree with what I have to say, or at least you just appreciated what I had to say, you could hit the thumbs up and subscribe, even if you hated it, because hey, it's a great channel, great perspective, some great videos for you guys to watch, and click the bell so you don't miss them in the future, and check out some of the content I have posted here. And guys, thank you for watching. This has been your YWC champ, and I'm signing out.